Teofimo Lopez officially breaks the news that he is no longer training with Eddie Reynoso, at least for the time being, leading up to his May 2nd fight against Arnold Barbosa, which is set to be an interesting fight. I would say that's the most 50-50 fight on the card. You got Jose Ramirez versus Devin the Dream Haney, Devin's comeback fight. I see Devin Haney winning that fight. I think, no offense to Jose Ramirez, but I've said it in other videos, he's a good fighter, he's a solid fighter, not a fighter to be slept on, but that's basically it. There's not anything that really sticks out. You know, Ryan Garcia maybe was, you know, a decent boxer, maybe not the best boxer, but he had that magical left hook. Jose Ramirez has a good left hook, but it's no Ryan Garcia left hook, so I gotta favor Devin Haney, obviously, in that fight. And then you got Rolly Romero and Ryan. I think we all got Ryan because Rolly seems a little punched out, like he's been taking too much punishment. But going back to Teofimo Lopez, he makes it clear that he is no longer training with Eddie Reynoso because, you know, Canelo has his fight coming up, and then it was just a conflict between, you know, Teofimo and how he wanted to run his training camp. And honestly, Teofimo Lopez even said, you know, he was willing to go to train with Eddie and Canelo, but they kind of said it's not the best time. And, you know, Teo was even willing to say that, you know, they didn't maybe think he was in the best part of his career mentally, and maybe just wasn't committed enough, wasn't focused. That's what you know, Teofimo Lopez said about not working with Team Canelo, saying that maybe they thought I just wasn't focused enough right now, and that's okay. You know, Teofimo Lopez, there's no bad blood or anything, but it's interesting to hear that, you know, we saw the footage that kind of went viral within the boxing community at least, where Teofimo was working with Eddie and Canelo, and we were seeing, you know, Teo give Canelo advice at a lot of times, you know, leading up, and a lot of people made memes about it, like, why is Teo giving Canelo advice? But they were stablemates for a little bit, so that's no longer the case. Teofimo Lopez has a very challenging fight coming up against Arnold Barbosa, because, you know, this is an interesting fight mainly because I think Teofimo Lopez is gonna have to make a decision between whether he wants to get motivated for this fight or whether or not, you know, he's just gonna be like, I can beat this guy easy, because we've seen it with guys like Teofimo himself and guys like Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. When you sleep on a guy, sometimes they have the ability to take advantage of that night. They have their best night, you have your worst night because you didn't want to train for them, you weren't motivated, because maybe Arnold Barbosa isn't the biggest name in the sport of boxing, so Teofimo's not as motivated as he would to put on such a stellar performance like he did against Vasily Lomachenko, as he did against Josh Taylor, so on and so forth, right? So Teo's a great fighter when he's locked in, when he's motivated, when he has no distractions in the training camp, but that's what, depending, you know, on his performance, that's the depending factor, because we don't know how focused Teofimo Lopez is. We don't know where he is mentally. You know, he's doing all the interviews. That's fine. I've interviewed Teofimo Lopez a number of times, but still, his performances, they can be, you know, unpredictable. We all know that. Whenever it's a name that he's not that excited to fight, we see a lackluster performance from Teofimo Lopez. Whenever it's a fight where we count him out, like Lomachenko or against Josh Taylor, we see Teofimo Lopez put on the performance of a lifetime. So it's going to be tricky with Arnold Barbosa. Maybe that slap, you know, that Teofimo Lopez gave Arnold was a sign of, you know, you aren't going to get the nice version of me. You're not going to get the unfocused version of me, and I'm going to step to you and, you know, embarrass you. Because I think the main thing is that Arnold Barbosa isn't as talented as Teofimo Lopez when it comes to athleticism and general, you know, reflexes. I think Teofimo's the more talented fighter, but the thing is that, you know, with everything he's going through mentally, everything going on outside of the ring, it's his, you know, job to pull himself together for this training camp to make sure that he's focused against a guy like Arnold Barbosa, because like I said, Barbosa might not be as talented as Teo, but he's been on a roll. He has, you know, momentum right now. So Teofimo Lopez has to be very careful in this fight, and, you know, he has to have a really good training camp and perform on fight night, because if not, this could be the last fight we see Teofimo Lopez in terms of, you know, we take him seriously as a natural, you know, contender, whether it's out 147 or maybe in the future even 154. So we'll see what Teo does. I still favor him, but he has to be locked in. If he's not locked in, there's a good chance Barbosa wins this fight and upsets Teofimo Lopez. But let me know down below what you guys think. Teo no longer trading with Team Canelo. But thank you guys for watching. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.